Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual on Firstpost, where we get you the top 50 headlines from around the world. I'm Alison Lagrange, coming to you live from Durban, South Africa. Let's begin. According to Gaza officials, 3 Israeli airstrikes on Jabalia refugee camp in northern Gaza killed at least 18 people yesterday. The officials said that some citizens are still missing. The strikes come after Israeli troops pulled out of Jabalia camp earlier this month. The Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant warned Hezbollah during his Washington visit. He said that the Israeli military is capable of taking Lebanon back to the Stone Age, but his government prefers a diplomatic solution to the Israel-Lebanon border conflict. Gallant said that Israel cannot accept Hezbollah military formations on the border with Lebanon. Yemen-based Houthis claim to have attacked a ship in Israel's Haifa port with drones. The Yemen-based group said that the assault on a Portuguese-flagged container ship was a joint operation with the Islamic resistance in Iraq. However, the Israeli military has said that there was no indication of anything unusual at Haifa port. And according to North Korean media, the country successfully tested a missile carrying multiple warheads. Pyongyang reportedly used engine equipped with a solid fuel-based intermediate and long-range ballistic missile for the test. However, South Korea rejected the claim, calling it a deception to mask a failed launch. The South American nation of Bolivia witnessed a failed coup attempt. The country's now dismissed army chief has been arrested for sending tanks and troops to the presidential palace. The uprising lasted about 5 hours, after which the soldiers pulled back. The attack prompted global condemnation. Amid fears of a coup, Bolivian President Luis Arce Arce had appointed a new military chief. Jose Wilson Sanchez Bulaquez has taken over as the new Commander General of the Bolivian Army. In his first order after assuming the post, he asked troops to demobilize from the streets. And the former Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez has been sentenced to 45 years in prison in New York. He is convicted for teaming up with drug traffickers for over a decade and sending over 400 tons of cocaine to the U.S. He also faces a $8 million fine. And British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and his opponent Labour Party Keir Starmer clashed in their final debate before the UK elections next week. Sunak criticised Starmer on migration, tax and women's rights, urging voters not to support the Labour Party, while Starmer accused Sunak of lacking leadership amid a betting scandal involving Conservative officials. Veteran BJP leader Al-K Advani has been admitted to the All India Institute of Medical Sciences in New Delhi. He is reportedly suffering from age-related health issues and has been kept under observation in geriatric department. The hospitalization comes 3 months after he received the highest civilian honor, the Bharat Ratna Award. International credit rating agency Fitch has downgraded the Maldives' rating to its lowest level. Fitch has cited the country's declining foreign reserves and rising external debt. The island nation's foreign reserves declined to $492 million in May, from $748 million in the same period last year, while its foreign debt soared to over $4 billion in 2023. And Sri Lanka has signed a debt restructuring deal with a group of foreign creditors, including India, China, and other nations. It was announced by Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe. The deal would postpone the repayment of about $10 billion in debt until the year 2028. Next month, Sri Lanka's parliament will vote to approve the agreements. In 2022, Sri Lanka defaulted on its foreign debt, leading the country into an economic crisis. And Kenya beefs up security in Nairobi over fears of fresh protests in the capital. This comes after anti-tax hike protests turned violent in Kenya. The police opened fire at the demonstrators trying to storm Kenya's legislature. President William Ruto has withdrawn the planned tax hikes. And on to climate news now. Parts of the US are under a severe heat wave spell. Now, homeless people in the state of Oklahoma are struggling to stay cool under the fierce sun. These people are at high risk as they don't have access to shelter or drinking water. The temperature in Oklahoma is predicted to touch 37 degrees Celsius this week. A wildfire in the U.S. state of Oregon is growing rapidly. The wildfire near Oregon's high desert has forced the evacuations of hundreds of people. According to officials, about 30% of the fire has been contained. And Pakistan continues to reel under scorching heat. Sweltering temperatures have killed at least 450 people in 4 days in Pakistan's biggest city, Karachi. The port city has been hit with extremely hot weather, with the mercury soaring above 40 degrees Celsius for 3 consecutive days till yesterday. After weeks of heat waves, India is now bracing for the monsoon season. Weather officials have predicted that India's capital, New Delhi, and its nearby areas are likely to experience thunderstorms and rainfall this week. The officials also predicted that Maharashtra state's Mumbai city would also receive heavy to moderate rainfall for the next 5 days. Heavy rainfall and lightning strikes killed nearly 20 people in 2 days in Nepal. Rain also triggered landslides and flash floods in various parts of the country. Dozens of houses were swept away and several trees were uprooted. According to reports, 33 districts in Nepal have been affected by monsoon rainfall so far. In Indonesia, climate change is threatening the livelihood of the farming Tenggeri's community. Thousands gathered at Mount Bromo to pray for rainfall so that their crops can ripen and their livelihoods improve. Due to scarce rains, the farming community is only able to harvest some crops only once instead of thrice a year. Now, heavy rain and hail hit the Spanish city of Madrid. The severe weather triggered flooding, which submerged streets in water, while on the other hand, a layer of snow covered the roofs of houses and buildings. Weather agency officials said that more storms are expected this week. And in western Switzerland, floodwater inundated parts of Morges town. Overflowing Morges River triggered the floods, sending floodwaters gushing down the streets. And on to business and tech news. The Indian stock market indices, Sensex and Nifty, hit a new record high on Thursday. The market opened in the red, however it soon rebounded. The Sensex jumped over 300 points and breached the historic 79,000 level for the first time. Meanwhile, the Nifty rose above the 23,900 mark. And the biggest banks in the United States have passed their annual stress test. The Federal Reserve said that all 31 banks that it examined were able to absorb large amounts of losses. These banks include JP Morgan Chase and Goldman Sachs, among others. Every year, the U.S. Central Bank tests if large banks in the country can withstand severe recession scenarios. These include high unemployment and a sharp fall in housing prices. And German engineering firm Robert Bosch is reportedly looking to buy American appliance maker Whirlpool. Bosch is in talks with its advisors to make an offer for Whirlpool. The move is expected to boost the German firm's position in the electric appliance market. Meanwhile, reports say Qatar Airways is looking to acquire about 20% stake in Virgin Australia Airlines. Qatar Airways is in talks with investment firm Bain Capital, the owner of Virgin Australia. This comes after Qatar Airways plans to expand in the Australian market, which was rejected last year. And Elon Musk's rocket firm SpaceX has been awarded an $843 million contract from NASA. Under the deal, SpaceX will develop a vehicle to dispose of the International Space Station. After 24 years of operations, the ISS is set to retire in 2030. The SpaceX vehicle is expected to guide the station as it plunges into the Earth's atmosphere. And e-commerce giant Amazon's market valuation reached $2 trillion for the first time on Wednesday. Amazon's stock price rose over 3%, pushing its market value to nearly $2.01 trillion. The e-commerce giant is only the fifth American company to achieve this valuation. This comes as stock market investors continue to pour large capital into artificial intelligence and cloud computing firms this year. Meanwhile, reports say that Amazon is planning to launch a separate section on its site featuring cheap items. The e-commerce firm will ship these items directly from its warehouses in China. As per the report, Amazon has held meetings with Chinese sellers regarding this plan, and the new marketplace is expected to help Amazon compete with Chinese e-commerce brands like Temu and Shein. Now, Indian information technology firm Infosys has settled an insider trading case with the market regulator. The 2021 case pertains to some top executives of the firm allegedly leaking sensitive information. Infosys was accused of failing to prevent insider trading. The firm has now agreed to pay a $30,000 fine to settle the case. American chipmaker Micron Technology has surpassed market estimates in its third quarter earnings. Micron reported $6.8 billion in revenue for the last quarter. The earning was driven by a surge in demand for memory chips. Micron's memory chips are used in NVIDIA's processors, which help power artificial intelligence. And Japanese investment giant SoftBank is reportedly planning to invest in the American artificial intelligence startup Perplexity AI. Now, the investment is a part of SoftBank's Vision Fund 2, which aims to help budding tech firms. SoftBank's investment is estimated to be between $10 to $20 million. Now, this would help Perplexity achieve a market value of $3 billion. And moving to sports now, and we start with cricket. South Africa have entered the finals of the T20 World Cup. They defeated Afghanistan by 9 wickets in a low-scoring match in the semis. Afghanistan batted first and were bowled out for just 56 runs. The Proteas chased down the target with 9 wickets and 67 balls still remaining. Now, this is also South Africa's maiden men's World Cup final. Now, Chris Silverwood has stepped down as the coach of Sri Lanka's men's head coach. Now, this came after Sri Lanka failed to qualify for the Super 8 of the T20 World Cup. Silverwood cited personal reasons behind his resignation. He said that he would want to spend time with his family after his stint with the team. In more trouble for Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka's Jayawardene has stepped down as the team's consultant coach. The announcement was made by Sri Lanka's cricket board yesterday. He started his role from 2022 and has experienced mixed results during his time with the national side. And in football news, Georgia scripted history by qualifying for the last 16 of the UEFA Euro 2024. This came after a remarkable 2-0 win over Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal. It was also Georgia's first appearance at a major international tournament. The match marked one of the biggest upsets in the history of Euro 2024. The English football team took part in a yoga recovery session. The team has been under immense pressure at the Euro 2024 for their abysmal performance. Their most recent match ended in a goalless draw against Slovenia. Captain Harry Kane and midfielder Jude Bellingham were among the players who did yoga. And Mexico's Edson Alvarez will be out of the squad for the rest of the Copa America. He has sustained a hamstring injury. The defensive midfielder was seen clutching his hamstring during Mexico's match against Jamaica. Now, coach Jaime Lozano said that losing a player like Alvarez is a massive blow to the team. And Ukrainian fans unfolded a banner during their Euro 2024 match against Belgium to honor those who died fighting the war. The banner had pictures of 182 fallen soldiers who were football fanatics. The picture put together formed an image of a 21-year-old who is codenamed Krenka. Now, the act by the spectators was to remind people of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And in tennis, Garbi Muguruza has been named the director of the finals of the Women's Tennis Association, or the WTA. She is a former Wimbledon and French Open champion. Muguruza will help in strategic planning and the growth of women's tennis in West Asia. The WTA finals are set to take place in Saudi Arabia. Indian cricket legend Kapil Dev has been named the president of the Professional Golf Tour of India, or the PGTI. The PGTI is a professional men's golf tour based in India. The 65-year-old was serving as the vice president of the tour previously. Kapil Dev, one of the most celebrated names in the cricket fraternity, helped India lift the first World Cup in 1983. And India have announced its 16-member hockey squad for the Paris Olympics. Harmanpreet Singh will be captaining the men's team. The squad has 5 debutants and also features veteran goalkeeper PR Srijesh. Now, India is drawn in Pool B alongside Belgium, Australia, Argentina, New Zealand and Ireland at the Olympics. And they will begin their campaign on the 27th of July against New Zealand. And in entertainment news, Paris Hilton testified before U.S. Congress about reform school abuse. She revealed suffering from sexual assault, physical restraint, and forced medication. This happened during her time at the Utah boarding school for troubled teens. She took the stand to bring a change at the youth residential facilities. Khloe Kardashian doesn't believe in mincing her words. She slammed her sister Kim Kardashian in an episode of The Kardashians. The duo got into a heated argument over Kim's daughter Chicago. In a confessional video, Khloe called Kim petty and little. Now, the illustration that introduced Harry Potter to the world was sold for a record $1.9 million. It was the original cover artwork for Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. The artist, Thomas Taylor, was one of the first people to read J.K. Rowling's original manuscript. Dozens of fans across the world gathered to remember pop icon Michael Jackson on his 15th death anniversary. People paid their tribute at the cemetery in the U.S., where he was laid to rest. Special flower arrangements from countries like China, Ireland, and Iran were sent to honor his memory. And UNESCO has named South Korean pop band 17 as their youth ambassadors. They have become the first ever global goodwill ambassadors for youth. They will spread the power of companionship and contribute to building a supportive and community for the youth. Marilyn Monroe's house in Los Angeles, called the Brentwood House, has been declared a landmark. The Los Angeles City Council took the decision to help protect the property from demolition. She died in that house of an apparent overdose in 1962. And Downton Abbey 3 has gotten a September 2025 release date. The British historical drama film is currently in production in the UK. The story is set in the fictional Yorkshire country estate between 1912 to 1926. Street Fighter will release in March of 2026. The film is based on the highly popular video game series with the same name. The video game series debuted in 1987. The film adaptation was previously released in 1994. And the cast and crew members of that 90s show walked down the red carpet to attend the premiere of the series. The show is the follow-up of that 70s show. The 8-episode series is set in 1996 and will stream from October. Meanwhile, the premiere of A Quiet Place took place in New York. The film stars actors like Joseph Quinn and Alex Wolff, as well as Lupita Nyong'o. Now, the movie set in New York shows the start of an alien invasion. The survivors learn to stay quiet as the attackers can track them via sounds. And that's all in this episode of Fast and Factual. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.
On the show today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon fans move across to the West Indies. What can we expect from this?
Hello, I'm Alison Green, coming to you from Durban, South Africa. Today we have a special show.
Start with a report on India's shifting nuclear posture. The first time since India officially became a nuclear power.
Hello and welcome to Firstpost America. I'm Aaron Ham, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Washington, D.C.